Hello viewers, today we're visiting one of the most bizarre looking and dangerous stations in the world. Some stations are dangerous simply because they're in the wrong part of town or they have safety problems due to high crime rates. New York's Port Authority bus terminal is one that comes to mind, as I remember it being full of homeless people, drug addicts and a large number of mentally insane people. We are now in Bucharest, Romania, where we will visit a station that is dangerous for a completely different reason. This station has some of the most narrow platforms in the world, which can only be described as a clear safety hazard. If this station was located in the United Kingdom, health and safety inspectors would be screaming in fear and would have closed it down straight away. Yet here in Romania, it's completely normal. I'm talking about Piața Romană metro station, located on the northern edge of the city center of Bucharest. Let's head down into the underground station to take a close-up look at these unusually small platforms, and I'll explain the bizarre reason behind their design. A ride on the Bucharest metro costs 5 lei, that's about €1, and tickets can be bought either from a machine or with cash at a ticket booth. However, it's much easier to simply tap your debit or credit card at the electronic gates to open them, with the fare automatically deducted from your card. So here we are inside Piața Romană station, which must surely be one of the most bare-bones stations in the world. It almost looks as if construction of this place was never fully completed. Let's head down one more level to reach the platform of Piața Romană station, which first opened to the public in 1988 when Romania was still a communist country. Down the stairs you enter a spacious waiting area that's separated from the platform by thick walls. Understandably, most passengers choose to wait in these areas of the station rather than on the extremely narrow platforms. Only when a train arrives do people move towards the platform, often bumping into passengers getting off the train, as the platforms and passageways are far too small to properly separate arriving and departing travelers. Let's measure these super narrow platforms in a simple, scientific way, using my own feet. That's about 3 1/3 of a foot length, just under a meter long. However, there are parts where the platform is slightly wider than 1 meter, as this station is completely asymmetrical. So why are the platforms at Piața Romană so narrow? And why wasn't this metro station properly constructed like the others on the line? To find out, we need to head to another part of the city.
Atenție! Se închid ușile.
Let's take the metro a few stops to one of the main sites in Bucharest, the People's Palace.
Urmează stația Pasarat, cu peronul pe partea dreaptă.
The People's Palace, which now houses the Romanian Parliament, was built in the 1980s on the orders of communist dictator Nicolae Ceaușescu and is the heaviest building in the world. Nicolae Ceaușescu was a proper madman, but many Romanians would say his wife, Elena, was perhaps even more evil. It was Elena Ceaușescu whom we have to thank for the extremely narrow platforms at Piața Romană. Although the planners of the Bucharest metro wanted to build a proper metro station at Piața Romană, Elena Ceaușescu banned its construction. She told the planners she was concerned that the students and workers of Bucharest were getting too fat and wanted them to walk from other metro stops instead. That might have made sense if she had ruled the United States, as there are many Americans who would even drive their car from the couch to their kitchen fridge rather than walk a few steps. Yet for late 1980s communist Romania, this was an absurd thing to say, as food was rationed and the country was in poverty. Anyway, the planners and engineers had to comply with Elena Ceaușescu's wishes, although they conspired against her in secret. Behind the metro tunnel walls, they secretly built the waiting areas for the future Piața Romană station. The planners knew that one day they would be proven right, in which case they could easily finish the station by drilling a few passages through the walls separating the hidden waiting areas from the tracks. As metro trains began running non-stop through the tunnel at Piața Romană, locals started to complain to City Hall that an additional station was needed on the line. The authorities eventually gave in, and permission was granted to build the Piața Romană metro station. Thanks to the foresight of the planners, the station at Piața Romană was quickly completed, but Elena Ceaușescu's initial refusal did lead to some engineering challenges. Simply put, since Piața Romană was originally built as a through tunnel rather than a station, the engineers couldn't remove the walls to create wider platforms, as that would compromise the structural stability. That's why to this day, the station still has its unique layout of extremely narrow platforms, with more spacious waiting areas located just behind them on the other side of the thick tunnel walls. It's only thanks to the adaptability and practical nature of the Romanian people that this setup somehow works and passengers aren't shoved in front of an approaching train. I'm sure that if this station were part of the metro systems of Berlin, London or New York, it would cause a serious incident at least once a week. Fortunately, Piața Romană is the only metro station in Bucharest with such a bizarre and dangerous design. However, most of the other Bucharest metro stations built in the communist era aren't exactly great, and they come nowhere close to the grandeur of the Moscow metro. Many other stations have the same unfinished look as Piața Romană, especially when it comes to the ugly ceilings. During Ceaușescu's reign, most money went to highly controversial projects, like paying off the entire state debt ahead of time, or costly undertakings such as the Danube Black Sea Canal and the People's Palace. This left no money whatsoever for other things, such as making the Bucharest metro look even halfway decent. Of all the communist-era metro stations in Bucharest, Titan is by far the best looking. The new M5 metro line, which opened in 2020, shows that Bucharest can build beautiful and well-designed stations. We can only hope that one day the authorities will find the money and political will to give some communist-era stations like Piața Romană a much-needed makeover. Thanks for watching this video, and don't forget to like, comment and subscribe. In the next few weeks, I'll be posting a lot more videos on this channel, traveling to some great places around Europe and sharing the interesting and unusual stories behind them. Here at Paliparan, the road goes on forever and the journey never ends.